Yeah, let's welcome Charissa today. What is FES and what's the heart behind this ministry?
Is the one-on-one journeying with students. So we do actually intentionally meet up with them. One unique characteristic of FES work, I think, is also that we believe that CF should be student-led and student-initiated.
Uni CF or in my high school CF, it's also the same. Like actually, I learned a lot of things in CF.
Because of my experience in CF, this kind of genuine desire to intentionally want to get to know people.
Because God has placed me in this campus, in this CF to serve Him.
We are a piece of coal, and we are together with the other coals, right? So we help to keep each other on fire and ignited.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Raymond Chanliang. Okay, and today I have a very special guest with me. She's actually my mentor in university, my CF. And yeah, let's welcome Charissa today. Yeah, hi Charissa. Very happy that you say yes to this interview. Yeah. So actually, before we start the interview, maybe let's just tell the people watching what is the purpose of this interview, lah. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, actually, Charissa, she's from FES. Yeah, so the purpose of this video is to let all of us we understand the CF in the university more and to understand FES better lah. Okay, so without further ado, let's start our interview session. Okay, so maybe you can do a little bit of self-introduction, like who you are, what's your hobby, you know, that kind of thing.
Hobby, okay. Yeah, my name is Charissa. Who am I? I'm a staff worker with FES Malaysia. FES actually stands for Fellowship of Evangelical Students Malaysia. So we are actually a Christian organisation and we work with students from uni and college across Malaysia. So we meet up with them one-on-one, or sometimes we organize events, camps, workshop. But if we want to use the so-called church language, it is student ministry. And it's a bit of discipleship as well.
Okay. Then maybe can you elaborate a little bit on maybe what is FES and what's the heart behind this ministry? Yeah, just now you elaborate a little bit, right? Like it is the student ministry, especially for the CF in university and college, right? But what is the heart behind this ministry?
So the heart, I would think that our hope is that we change students for life. And what we mean by that is that when students' lives are changed, right, they can actually impact, changed by God, of course, to impact society, impact campus, impact also their families in the future, and the nation as a whole. So the idea of changing, God changing people through the work of FES in the different college and uni. And I think the heart or the crux of the work actually is the one-on-one journeying with students. So we do actually intentionally meet up with them to actually talk about life, actually to listen to them and to actually know where they are at this point in their life, and maybe asking them to consider actually what God might be doing in your life. So it is really just this idea of a fellow pilgrim walking alongside to encourage and to also challenge the students to own their faith and to see what God is doing and respond to that. So that's one thing, the one-on-one meetups. And I think it is also one unique characteristic of FES work, I think, is also that we believe that CF should be student-led and student-initiated. And what we mean by that is that it's not so much of the staff telling the student, okay, you do this, you do that. We can suggest, we can say, okay, maybe you want to consider this, or but ultimately it must be the students themselves who decide and who learn how to take ownership with their decision. Because at the end of the day, I think uni student, right, need to learn how to adult and to grow and to learn how to lead as well. And so this is part of the process of learning how to own our decisions, own our faith. And so when CF is student-led and student-initiated, then the staff role is actually to help guide lah, and to help shape the CF. So maybe some things the student don't see, or got certain blind spots, maybe staff can point this out, or maybe staff can advise or ask them to consider things. But ultimately it is the students reaching other students, because FES also believes that students are the best missionaries in campus, because you all know the ground, you all know what your other friends are talking about, you all know what is happening in campus. So we as the staff, we are like the third person who comes to support and to shape the CF, but the students themselves are the ones who are the real missionaries in the campus.
Yeah. Actually, I really agree with what you say. Yeah, and especially the student initiative one, because for me personally, I have been committee in the CF before, and really like all the activities, the planning, it actually really teaches student, how to serve God. The heart is very important, and planning for CF, care for other CF members. I think that is very, very important also, and it also like helps the students to grow spiritually as well. Yeah, not only thinking about themselves, but also think about other people as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. All right, so maybe can you share a little bit about your personal journey with us? Like, how do you get involved with FES, and how has being part of FES like shaped your faith also?
I've never heard of FES until I came to uni. So as a uni student, that's when I first heard of them. It was my senior last time who was like, hey, come for this camp called Camp Cameron. I'm like, what is that? So I just go lah. And I think that's where I met other friends and also FES staff. And I had a staff worker also who journeyed with me in my campus days lah. So sometimes he will go yam cha, then we will talk about life and talk about faith lah. So I think it is because of this, my own worldview, the way I look at people, the way I look at the world, was shaped by my years in uni. Because I also had someone help me make sense of things and to actually challenge me, like where do you think God, or what do you think God is saying in the midst of all this lah? So because of that, I realized that when I went to work, my worldview, I was who I was because of the foundations God had built in my life through the work of FES. The way I look at people, the way I look at work was very different. And so I thought, okay, very interesting, impactful ministry. I thought, why not give it a shot, because there was an invitation to join the team. So I was like, okay lah, God. Yeah. But yeah, your question also was how it changed my life, right? Or how CF changed my life. As a student, I think I first experienced what it felt like to be cared for when I was in CF. So I had seniors in CF who were just so genuine and really cared for me that I felt like, wow, this is so cool. And I really want to give back what I've received. So it was in CF that I learned what it really means to love one another. And if you knew me as a high school student, right, I don't really seem like the same person, because in high school I don't really care about people. And I was the kind that I don't care you live or die. I just keep to myself. But I think when I went to CF and I experienced that kind of community life, right, God somehow just really used that to transform me into someone who realized that, hey, I want to love people, not because I want people to love me in return, but because God loves them. I mean, yeah, they made in His image, and I want to care for them because God cares for them. In the past, when I was in high school, maybe I care for people because I want them to be nice to me, right? So I'd be nice to you lah, then you be nice to me ma. But I think God really changed my motivations, and I realized this transformation only while I was in CF, because I think I was on the receiving end, and I realized, wow, I was inspired to do the same for others. And it's in CF that I realized all of us actually have masks on, but we don't need to always be faking it lah. I don't know lah. So somehow in CF lah, just had that, God gave me that experience of what community can look like. That changed my life.
Actually, I feel like my personal journey and my experience CF is kind of like the same.
Really,
Also, yeah, because like in uni CF or in my high school CF, it's also the same. Like actually, I learned a lot of things in CF. For me personally, like with my CF friends, you know, I feel like the bond between us is not just like hi-bye friends. They are really people who cared for you. And when I feel lost in uni, they are the ones who really understand my struggles, you know, and you know, praying for each other, you know, helping each other out. I think that really showed me what loving people is. Yeah. And when I feel very down, you know, at least I know that there's this group of friends that I can rely upon. Yeah, in my uni, and they are my fellow brothers sisters in Christ also. Yeah. So I really agree what you say about CF. Yeah. Okay, so since we're talking about CF, right, in university, are there any like key moments where you saw God work through CF?
The first example, I guess, was how I think I noticed that God changed me. My whole personality is like a 180-degree switch. I'm still very much introverted, actually, believe it or not. But I realized that like now there's this kind of because of my experience in CF, this kind of genuine desire to intentionally want to get to know people and to sit with those who maybe, you know, are alone. That kind of like, last time I don't care and I just keep to myself, but now like I want to disturb the one who is like that, and to just I guess be part of God's work in reaching out to people. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, so really a transformation in the sense that God has changed me from someone who doesn't care about people to someone who actually intentionally goes and talks to people and is genuinely interested in them. So I feel for me it's very weird because when I was younger, I really won't do that kind of thing, and I really don't care about people, and so I really recognize that this is really God's work in me. It must be God because it's so unnatural, and it's not me lah. So yeah, the motivation to love, I think maybe as a staff worker, then how I see God working, right, is at least in my own experience as a staff, sometimes there are some sessions we need to prepare or like lead or facilitate, and then I find myself sometimes tempted to pride, thinking, oh, I can do things on my own, or I got certain skills, like I'll just prepare lah, you know, like normal but I think there are days also that I realize that, wow, God, I really have nothing to give. I'm so tired, for example, but I still need to, I've committed to run this Bible study or this session, so God, can you please help me? And out of that desperation, right, I just tell God, I have really nothing already, please help me. And it always turns out, usually lah, God has never failed. On those moments when I'm the weakest, right, and I really, I cry out to God out of desperation, it is those times that the conversations are the best conversations. The studies, although I feel are like very meh for me, students will come and say, wow, you know, the word really touched me. I'm like, wow, really? I'm like, wow, this really is God. So then it has shown me time and time again, right, that it's really not me, it is really God who is working through my own weaknesses. Like that's when His strength is like, wow, like that's so cool, God. And I think some of the students also I see, they are really growing and really from people who maybe a bit lukewarm, now a bit more on fire for God. And I think when I see those kind of things, it also shows that it's not me, because it's clearly not me who's always walking with every student. I mean, that's like 50 of us. Yeah, so it must be God doing something and changing these students lah. So I'm seeing people get interested in the word, people who are saying things like, I recognize that I've done this in the past. So I mean, what's that? That's repentance, right? So I mean, it's part of that process of discipleship, and so it's exciting to see that God is doing something. In another CF that I'm with, there's also a student who was really seeking for answers and for truth, and it was in CF that he gave his life to Jesus. It was really out of the blue, like the speaker suddenly, you want to be a Christian? Like, oh yeah, like, oh wow, yeah. Even though for weeks and weeks we have been trying to speak to him, but still no. But God, in His time, in His grace, in His way, moved his heart lah. So I thought, I mean, God is working lah through the CFs. Maybe not so direct for us to see all the time, but He is doing something.
Yeah. Actually, I think a lot of times we forgotten about this. We always think that CF is for the Christians in the campus, but it also exists for the non-believers. Yeah. And it is really a good place. The university is really a good place to spread the word of God. Yeah, because there are so many people here, and it's easy for us to reach out to them also. Yeah. And also, like in my CF, there are also people that really, like what I say, give their life to God. Yeah, because they attend CF. Yeah. So really praise God for that. Yeah. Okay. So speaking about student ministry, maybe let's share a little bit about why is the student ministry so important in today's world. And or maybe why should students, when they come to uni or college, why should they join CF?
Very good question. I think even like what you were pointing out, that the students' lives are being changed, right? And university is the best time for that, because this is your foundational years in life. What I mean by that is that when you come to uni, chances are it's the first time you're so far away from home, or at least further from maybe parents' supervision. So this is where you learn how to adult, you learn how to take ownership of your decisions, and it is generally in the adulting, right, that sometimes we find ourselves having questions in life. And so this is where our faith will be tested. This is also where we come to get knowledge. I mean, uni, right? So we get exposed to different ideas, different worldviews, different friends, so different values even. And so in the midst of all this, right, it's a great place to ask the bigger questions in life, and to ask maybe, is there really a God? And to own that kind of our faith and that kind of conviction, that it's not just I follow my parents and I just blindly, or whether God or not, it doesn't matter. But to actually ask the hard questions here, because our uni years usually set the trajectory for our life, the next 30, 40, 50 years. How then do we want to live our lives? So it is usually in uni we decide how we want to live our lives. Do I want to just work and get a lot of money? Do I just want to, climb the corporate ladder, or I don't even want to finish my uni, I just want to be an influencer, I don't know. So it is here. We ask the tough questions. Our faith is tested, and it is a good place for discussion and to really learn how to adult lah. The second reason, I guess, is that like what you mentioned, uni is a mission field. So why come to CF, right? Actually, if you think about it, and if you are a Christian, if you come to CF, this is the place where you are encouraged, where you are challenged to go and live out your faith. And if you are a non-Christian, this is the place where you can discover more about God and who God is. If you imagine, right, if I show you, or if I invite you to come to church, if I'm a non-Christian, maybe I'll be a bit hesitant. You go church, what church is that, right? But if you say, hey, come to my uni CF lah, just in this lecture hall only, you can leave anytime you want, don't feel scared, it's in campus ma. So it's less daunting, and it really is, because the university is a place to explore new ideas anyway and to be exposed. So there really is no harm lah. So in that sense, we never know how God can use the CF and shape and grow us lah. So yes, it's a mission field. We actually, you as a student, you can reach people who I cannot reach, who pastors cannot reach, because you are in the classrooms every day, you are in the lecture theatres, you are in the tutorials, and so you come across people, same age group, same energy level, same interests. So you are the people who understand the language also. I mean, Gen Z language, very interesting. Huh? Okay, so you are the best missionaries really. And so the CF really is that place where people can come and learn more about God. And for the Christians, this is a place you can bring your friends. So it's really, your campus is your mission field. You're only here for maybe 3 to 5 years, and it's a very short time only. So then asking ourselves, why of all places, right, God has put me, for example, in Sunway University or in other campuses, why has God placed me here? Yes, it's to study, please study, but surely there is more to life than just this. What is God preparing me for, and why here of all places? Who are the people around me who maybe don't know God yet and who I can introduce them to Jesus lah.
Yeah. Actually, I really agree with what you say. I remember last time, like many years ago, one of the FES staff told me this: God has placed you here for a reason. Yeah, and that actually really encourages me and really motivates me, to continue to serve in CF because God has placed me in this campus, in this CF to serve Him also. Yeah, and I also saw many of my friends in CF through serving in CF, like they bring their friends to come to CF. It's really a good place to evangelize to people, and also it's a place where we can grow in the faith. Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, like we know that we are living in the secular world. Yeah, and how does the CF or FES, help students live out their faith, or help students in general, especially when they are in this secular university environment?
I think the picture that comes to my mind, right, is that if we are a piece of coal, and we are together with the other coals, right, so we help to keep each other on fire and ignited. But if you remove that one coal and you place it somewhere else, I mean, it will eventually lose the heat. So I think that idea of when you come together with a group of Christians, right, you come to really encourage one another and to just spur one another on, don't give up. I mean, yes, we are in a world that is dark. We are in a culture maybe that is not very friendly towards Christians. But then how can we still encourage one another to persevere anyway, and to be faithful even in the midst of difficulty? So CF is that place where we're not saying we run away from the world. We are in the world but not of it. So then we encourage one another to not conform. And so on days that it's difficult, we can come together and say, please pray for me, I'm going through this difficult thing. Or even coming to our friends in CF and say, I don't know what to do in this situation. And so just talk about it and to hear from one another, and we can be praying for one another. So I think actually the CF really is a special place, because even if, let's say, God has called you to serve in other capacities in campus, maybe not in CF, but in engaging the university elsewhere, student council or whatever I mean, we are also not lone Christians and so we need that kind of support from one another to say, how can I pray for you and to really send them with our support and blessing also. So yes, encouraging one another in this circular setting that we have and I think I think also in our encouraging one another, we also realize that actually there's no real division between what is sacred and secular. So I think even as we look at maybe our difficulties in campus, right, and we realize that, yes, this is a difficulty. It doesn't mean that I can't pray with regard to this. That this is also something that I want to face as a Christian, and my Christian identity is not separate from me just because it's not something to do with church. So our whole life, our studies even, right, if we are living sacrifices, everything we do with our entire being surely is an act of worship to God. So that involves our studies, our interpersonal relationships, friendships, our co-curricular activities, or whatever. How we do it, do we do it to God's glory? So my long answer to your short question is that the CF can support one another and be that beacon of light in a dark place. So when people see that, why this Christian so strange and so different, then they will know that, he is different because, or she is different because they follow Jesus. So then it would ask questions and, it would raise questions.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the verse that really reminds me, right? And yeah, every time when I'm studying, there are times where I feel very stressed out or what. But always I feel like God always encourages me, in everything I do it for His glory. Not just in my church or CF, but in my studies as well. Yeah, and in our everyday life when we meet with our friends, everything we do it for the glory of God. Yeah.
I think even when we meet with friends, even those kind of small interactions I would think, right, Christians and non-Christians we would face issues or problems or difficulties, and the difference that the Christian then has, or the advantage is that the Christian has God, and when the Christian deals with it or responds, how then do we respond? So if let's say my group mates are giving me problem, how do I respond as a Christian? Or if everyone is using AI to do dodgy things, to in their assignments or whatever, is the Christian also going to do the same thing or not? But does that mean the Christian will lose out? If yes, then is it something I will accept because I want to honor God? Yeah, so questions like that, and how we really support one another and encourage one another to be different and not to conform. I think that is one strength or something that the CF can do to support Christians.
Actually, I was always being reminded about this. Being different is not something bad. Many times we want to follow what the majority of people are doing. And maybe we feel left out if we do not do that. But I think as a Christian, we must remember that we are set apart from this world. But at the same time, we must also care for people around us. Not to say that I set apart, that I don't care about my friends at all. So being the salt and light of this world.
Actually, which also makes me think about this idea that FES also does encourage, which is to engage with the university. And what we mean by that, right, is that we are actively involved and caring about what goes on in our campus or around us. So it's not that we, like you mentioned, not that we are don't care about others, I'm set apart, therefore I do my own thing. It's not like that. But yes, we are set apart, but we also are in the same environment with our friends. And what happens if God cares about it, we want to care about it as well. So if there are issues going on, if there's bullying in campus or whatever that is, then do I as a Christian care about it as well? Then how do I respond? What kind of action do I want to take that shows I know this is happening and I care about it? So let me just give a short example. I think I heard a story about some students in USM KK, the medical campus. So they, during the pandemic, they actually knew that it was hard to get food and supplies. So what the CF did was that they went and bought food, went and bought supplies, and they actually delivered it to people in campus. So that is one way of knowing what is going on and responding and caring for people. So I think really going the extra mile and showing love to our campus community.
I think living out the faith.
Yes.
Yeah, very important. Okay, so next question. Are there any challenges in CF? So what are some challenges normally that the CF in university face? And in your opinion, how do we actually solve them?
Wow, solve. Challenges many challenges. But I would think that different CFs have different challenges because it's different demographics and different situations. But I think in general, one thing we struggle with is individualism. I think a lot of us, we keep to ourselves and we don't want to be involved with others. We rather take care of ourselves, and we we don't want to pay the cost lah, of caring for others, because I mean the truth is sometimes it can be inconvenient to love our neighbor.
Yep.
To stop and say, I will I will help you, or I will listen, when we ourselves sometimes are just so hard pressed by so many things. So I think that kind of individualism, you do you, I do me, I don't really care or show concern about you, is something that is tough lah, and I don't know what else to do besides prayer. And because really these kind of things, it must be God who changes our hearts lah. So I think growing hearts that are hospitable, and what I mean by that means we have hospitality, we show hospitality for people by providing space for them. That can be something lah. But yeah, it's not easy. It's easier said than done. But maybe my challenge lah to students lah is to ask God to stretch, maybe to help me be a bit more hospitable, to grow me, to care for people. Yeah, because God cares for them lah. So yeah. So individualism is one thing. Another thing would be the challenge of unity. I think God has given us minds to think lah, and we're all different. We can have different opinions and views on things, and so sometimes when we are different in terms of opinions, in terms of culture, in terms of language, theological stand, I think sometimes it can be very tough to come together as a united group, because different people will want things done different way. So then the challenge of the CF is, how do we then put aside maybe secondary matters and still come together on primary beliefs and doctrines, and say, okay lah, maybe certain theological issues we can agree to disagree, that we don't need to fight over it, because there are more important things like introducing Jesus to non-Christians, and to actually say that for the sake of the common mission that we have and the common love that we have for Jesus, and let's put aside differences and work together. So when a group is interdenominational, we come from different churches, different theological traditions, different backgrounds, different cultures and languages. So how then do we meet in a way that that takes all this into account? So if I know, let's say for example, I have a friend who cannot speak English very well, and let's say the CF is run in English, then can I translate for my friend who doesn't speak English so well? Or even if I speak English very fast, can I slow down or use simpler words? So this is all part and parcel of learning how to come together in unity and to give and take lah. That I don't have to use canggih bombastic words all the time if I know that my brother or sister is struggling. And likewise, if let's say everyone is speaking Mandarin, for example, then and you know that there's an Indian, for example, or Iban in the room who doesn't speak Mandarin, then you don't speak Mandarin lah. For the sake of that brother, for example. So I think the idea of being united, right, is not just I say yeah we are united, but what kind of action can I show that tells you I'm aware that you're here and I want you to be part of my fellowship and my group, and because of that I will put aside maybe my habits or my usual things, or things that are not super important, so that we can still be united. Because this was Jesus's prayer for us also, that before he went to the cross, that his disciples would be united. So I would think this is our action, right, is almost like an answer to Jesus's prayer. If we really love one another, and if we are really united, and by this people will know we are really his followers lah. So culture, language, or maybe another example to clarify, for example, so some churches we speak in tongues, some churches don't, and so in an interdenominational setting, maybe for the sake of unity, I don't speak in tongues because I don't want the groups that don't speak in tongues to feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so for the sake of other people, what is the most loving action that I can do to keep that unity? Because Paul also talks in Ephesians that you make every effort, right, to keep the unity that Christ has already obtained. But we need to be keeping it lah. We need to keep that unity for the sake of Jesus' desire also lah, that he wants us to be united. So yes, also I would think that also extends to theological differences. Usually CFs, we come together on what we call the primary doctrine, or our basic statement of beliefs lah. And so that one is for all Christians. We believe things like, God is Trinity, Jesus is fully God, fully man, there was the virgin birth, he died on the cross, bodily rose again. Those kind of things everybody agrees. And if someone doesn't agree, then maybe that is in the realm of false teaching already, and we need to have conversations lah. So but if we can agree on the primary doctrines, then why should I allow secondary doctrine to come and disrupt the unity which Christ clearly prayed for? So this is a challenge that I think we face in CF, because sometimes some of us find it very hard to say, okay, I will agree to disagree, or okay, maybe this is a secondary doctrine, and we insist that no, we must do things like this, and if you don't believe this, then I'll fight lah. Okay, but let's maybe learn to fight on the things that are worth fighting for. So there's literature, or people have written about these things, or which hill we want to die on, or what we want to firmly take our stand in, and what are some things maybe we can be gracious about. Anyway, there's this saying that in essentials, in things that are super important, essentials, unity. In non-essentials, liberty, the idea of freedom. But in all things, right, at the end of the day, charity. And that would mean being non-judgmental, or being kind about things that, about everything, really. But it's not that we say we don't care about truth, we do. But at what expense lah? If it is truth without love, then that's bashing up people lah.
Yes.
But if it's love without truth, that's hypocrisy also lah. So we need both. And actually, again, maybe also answering the question of why come to CF, right? This is where we learn lah. This is where we learn how to love one another, because it's not easy. It's not easy to keep unity. But this is what Jesus has called us to lah. Yeah. So let's keep the unity and make every effort to keep the unity. It doesn't mean that we're compromising on truth, but we need to also have that balance of truth and love. And when we see our brother or sister maybe not so familiar with different traditions or even languages, cultures, how can we as a community, right, help them to feel belonged or part of the group lah? And that I feel is also learning how to love our neighbor and to be united.
Actually, I think for the CF, right, having friendly discussion is a good thing. Like just now you talk about secondary teachings, right? Yeah, actually, some people may say that putting all this aside, you're actually not holding the truth fully. No, but actually, in my opinion, I feel like we can have friendly discussion. So I think it all comes back to what is the purpose we are discussing about this. Are we, or purposefully, I want to prove you wrong, or that kind of thing. I think that's not good lah, because we are destroying the body of Christ also. But I think having like good discussion, friendly discussion, to learn from one another, that one is important and it's good. And I think from the at the end of the day, I think what is most important is that we need to learn to love each other lah. Putting ourselves smaller, put God larger, love our neighbor as ourselves. So alright, we come to the last part already. Are there any advice that you want to give to the viewers, or anything in general that you want to share?
Come for CF. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but I really think CF is a good place to grow. It's a good place to be challenged, and at the same time also to find hope. I mean, hope is found in Jesus for sure, but this is where we remind ourselves of the hope that we have in Christ. And because no Christian should walk alone. I mean, Christianity knows nothing of lonely or solitary religion. Yeah, so come for CF, join a community. If you are a Christian, this is the best time to adult and to own your faith. It's part of that process of maturing. So come, ask the tough questions, but ask it in community also, so you don't spiral also. Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Liang? You got any questions or advice you want to give them?
Well, for me, I'm graduating soon from uni. Actually, I joined CF since my foundation year. Yeah, when I first stepped into this campus, I actually joined CF already. And I can say that throughout my 4 years in CF, I really, I really learned a lot of things. Yeah, from my brothers sisters in CF, and of course there are times where I feel lonely, when I feel down also, or there are challenges, maybe disagreements also. Yeah, but I feel like it was during this moment, that God really teaches me how to love other people as well. And when I'm feeling depressed or what, actually God also sent people to care for me. And actually every week I look forward to CF, because it is the place where I really feel recharged, and seeing people grow in Christ, and I myself also learned a lot in CF actually through our Bible study session, our sermons and everything lah. Actually for me, I actually really feel very grateful to get the opportunity to join CF. So I really encourage everyone, if you are a student, come for CF. If you know people that are entering university, also encourage them to come for CF. It is really a place where I feel like God can use to shape people, and to learn to love Him more dearly. Charissa, maybe can you share with our viewers, like, if they want to support the campus CF, or if they want to support FES, how can they support?
Okay, so for campus CF, right, I think one thing that comes to mind, number one, sometimes the CF need speakers to come and share things. So if usually the CF will invite people from churches to come and speak. So that's one way you can support the CF. The other way actually is to release your church members and to encourage them actually to come and join the CF in their uni. Why I say this is that sometimes students can be quite torn between being active in CF and active in church. Sometimes there's no capacity to be active in both at the same time. But I think one thing about CF, the nature is that it's transient, it's not forever. So during this short 3 to 5 years of their mission, right, whether the churches can see it as we are sending our students to the CF and to the campus as a mission field. So for this short 3 to 5 years, it's like the churches are sending the students as missionaries in their campus, in places where the church cannot reach on its own. And so these are the students we are sending as the church. And here in CF, they are trained as leaders. They learn different things from their different friends from different churches. The good things they can come and bring back to their church. And having experienced this rich interdenominational working together, right, I feel it broadens their perspective, and they bring this back to their home churches. I would think it's something that can enrich the church as well. So for me, number one is helping with speakers. Number two, maybe is to just encourage our young people in church to go for CF. That even if for now they cannot be super active in church, we still insist, or we still hope that students will go to church. CF never replaces church. It cannot. They must go to church alongside with CF. But to maybe give some grace when students cannot be fully committed to a particular maybe ministry in church for that amount of time. So not forever, but maybe for that time when they are a committee member or something like that. So giving space and grace lah. So that when they are trained in CF, then they go back and edify the church. So that's one way, the two ways. With regard to FES, number one, you can be praying for us. Please pray. So we would really support, really appreciate prayers. Another way you can support FES is actually by donating or even tithing to FES, because actually we are fully funded by donations given by our supporters, which usually are our graduates or people who have along the years maybe known about the work in FES and they give lah. So it actually helps us to continue doing what we do. So yes, if you want, you can also sign up for our newsletter. We will have updates on the work of FES, and also you have prayer items from different staff workers lah. So yeah, by your prayers and also by your financial gifts, it will help a great way.
Okay, thank you so much, Charissa, for today, for this interview session. And really want to thank you, FES, also for making my uni life so fruitful. Wow. So and also thank God for everything that He has given to us. And once again, just want to thank FES and thank Charissa once again for coming for this interview. Hopefully all of us will learn a little bit more about the campus CF and also about FES. Alright, so if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, you can put in the comment section down below what you have learned today or your thoughts about the campus CF. Thank you so much, everyone. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.